Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you are. I stole that line from Ginger or Zamario. We are now getting into a spoiler discussion slash impressions of episode 1 of Star Trek's newest show, Lower Decks. I am hosting this week or this episode or whatever. I am Cousin Cheeto. I am joined by my dark melting chocolate co-host, Zam, but he's
Melting,
melting
baby.
chocolate this week.
Melting, baby.
He's
My
melting.
blubber is
hot.
everywhere.
He's hot like a homie. Well, let's just dive right into it. Zam, go ahead and give me your raw opinions of this first episode of Lower Decks before we kind of get into the nitty-gritty details.
Okay, first of all, I would like to mention that I live on a busy road and my windows are open, but it's hot as hell today. And we're going to have to live with some of the car noises coming past us during this podcast. And I do apologize for that, but we have no choice. Regarding Lower Decks, I enjoyed it. This was so refreshingly different. And what I liked about it the most, that even though it was different, it was still Star Trek. And that was, for me, fundamentally the most important thing about this. Yes, if you're going to use this platform, at least remind us that we're still watching Star Trek. And when we do talk about the nitty-gritty, we will get into why this is Star Trek. But I liked it. I want this to be a very popular show. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but we can talk about that a little bit later. But so far, what I've got out of this show, I have enjoyed it. It might not be a popular opinion for anyone who's watching this podcast, but yeah, this show is definitely something I'm going to be keeping tabs on.
Yeah, I really liked this first episode. Every first episode in every first season of every Trek that has ever come has always gotten a rough start. And I honestly feel like this first episode was actually really good for Trek. I found myself laughing a couple times. But, there's I really like the show 30 Rock. But if you watch the first episode of 30 Rock, like, you don't really laugh all that much throughout that episode. So I feel like that this was a really, if it got me to laugh a couple times and it got my nostalgia bones shivering or tingling for Trek, I think that it did its job so far. I mean, the first episode is just to get us hooked and to come back next week for more.
I never really look at pilots as the be-all and end-all of a show. It is a pilot, it is the beginning, it is how things sprout from there. And there's only ever been, for recent memory, I'm sure there's been maybe others, but I think the only pilot episode where I got hooked from the moment I saw it was Arrow, the first episode of Arrow. I thought that was fantastic. It really was, from the get-go. Oliver Queen coming off the island and everything, and then bouncing those tennis balls and shit like that, and going out in his costume and fighting a few people. It encompassed everything in one episode. And it felt very dark and serious back then. I don't want to go on about that. Like I said, I gave this a chance. I knew what I was going into when I was watching this. I was expecting wackiness and craziness, and I like I do immediately like some of the characters we got already. Talking about the characters, you got to forgive me. Their names haven't stuck with me yet, but we know who they are by their appearances. So we got the guy who recently got the cyborg implants, that geezer with the Vulcan cyborg implants. His name will become eventually a more common thing, but that's who he is. I like him. I like the green slave girl alien who's not a slave girl. She's just a member of Starfleet. I like her. She's enthusiastic. I like the nerdy guy who wants to be a Starfleet captain. And I like the girl who's related to the captain. Obviously, we're giving out spoilers here. This is a spoiler show. I do apologize if we haven't mentioned that earlier. But they all seem to be interesting characters, people I would like to follow, and I can't wait to see what other adventures they get up to.
All right, sorry, I was trying to bring a list of the names up while you were talking, but it's Ensign Mariner,
Ensign Mariner is the black chick.
Is the black chick who is related to the captain.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know how people don't know that. I mean, maybe
I figured it out. Sorry for interrupting. I figured it out the moment the captain was talking to the admiral, and I realized that either they are husband and wife or used to be husband and wife, and then I realized instantly, that's their daughter, and then boom, they mentioned it. And then
I kind of caught it early too.
Yeah.
The other ensign is the purple-haired ensign is Ensign Boimer or Boimer.
Yeah, Boimer. Yeah, Boimer. Yeah. I like him. I think he's a person who's definitely got room to grow in this show. I can see him having a character arc for sure.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like he's your Rick and Morty character in this show.
He's definitely Morty.
Yeah, like I mean, this is done by and I'm not comparing this show to Rick and Morty. I'm not sitting there saying, "Oh, it's too much like Rick and Morty." I'm just saying, like, it is definitely your Morty type, right, Morty?
Well, look, already, Mariner is definitely Rick, and Boimer is definitely Morty. I mean, the comparisons can't be helped be made, but eventually, like I said, if the show gets second seasons or whatever, then if the first season is successful, then we'll get to know them better, and then hopefully they'll be individuals.
The other one, the Orion chick that you were talking about, was Ensign Tendi.
Yeah, that's the slave girl chick.
Yeah, an Orion. Yes, let's not be racist, Sam. Let's call them what they are. They're Orions.
And they're fictional as well. Yeah, let's continue.
And then your cyborg dude is Ensign Rutherford.
Yes.
So
you missed out on a great piece of ass because it's fucking got the best of him, but he doesn't seem to have any regrets.
Level 2 diagnostic. How do you concentrate when there's a level 2 diagnostic needing to be done? So I'm guessing he's going to be the character that's like totally badass, but doesn't know it and doesn't act like it. But he
acted a little bit badass in that episode with the zombie aliens.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, he's doing the badass things, but it's like he doesn't even know. Like, he doesn't even catch it.
Yeah, I agree. And it's good to see, like, that we are going to possibly keep tabs with the bridge crew, but not that much. They are the supporting cast for sure. Like the first officer seems like a proper dick, and I like that. He's like the evil Riker.
Don't be speaking such blasphemy about our Riker.
Well, he is, isn't he? He's a guy who's very self-confident. He probably considers himself to be a bit of a player and a looker. I mean, that's how they designed him. But he comes across as a jock. Your stereotypical. Your stereotypical asshole jock.
So me?
No, not you. You're a nerd.
Doesn't mean I'm not a dick.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that, but you're not a stereotypical jock, are you?
Oh well,
yeah. So, in that sense, so I like that. That's different. I like that sort of like security guy with I think he's got an eye patch. He's always wanted to destroy the warp cores and shit like that.
Well, you know what he is, right? He's a Bajoran.
So is he a Bajoran?
Yeah, he's Bajoran.
I couldn't tell. He's
like this big muscular guy, and he's like this Bajoran. It's like if Kira Nerys was a guy, like that's who he was. I mean, he's like let's do peaceful negotiations, and he's in the background going, ah.
He wants to have a rock all the time.
I know, right? Yeah.
And there's like a bold guy who's like a lieutenant, like maybe third in charge.
Lieutenant commander, and I think he's
like third in charge.
Yeah, possibly. I don't remember what his station was.
Yeah, so you got them. And you know who I like? I like the cat doctor.
Yeah.
I like the cat.
I don't remember the name of that race. I'm so bad.
Have they been in Star Trek before in any other form?
Well, they've only been in one series that I believe to this date, and that is the original animated series. So now we're going to have the TOAS, the original animated series.
The original animated series is canon, yeah?
Supposedly. I have never seen it, so I can't judge it. And honestly, I don't consider. I mean, this is a discussion I wanted to get into later. If you're okay in transitioning?
Yes.
should Lower Decks or is Lower Decks canon to Star Trek? I personally don't want it to be. I want it to be in the Star Trek universe, but not necessarily everything that happens in this show has a effect on the live action Star Trek universe. I honestly want it to be a parody. I want them to do crazy shit that doesn't matter. And I just want them to kind of go balls to the wall with it. I really honestly don't want it to be canon, but I want it to kind of adhere to obviously all the Trekisms because it's making fun of Trek.
So it can. So you want it. Before I give you how I want it or what I think it is.
How do you want it, Zam?
No, but you want it to basically encompass every aspect of Star Trek without being canon. So the lore can be used to obviously flesh out this, but it still won't necessarily be canon.
I just want them to kind of have the freedom to do whatever they need to do to kind of make it a fun and entertaining show. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree, but I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, because the problem with a lot of these shows is they like to sometimes get people together for the sake of it because they share the same universe, and like apparently they're going to be doing that with the Mandalorian by putting in Boba Fett and the Tano, and it kind of made me realize this is actually not a good idea. At first, I was on board, but now I'm not, because this is a fucking universe, and we're bringing in people we know, and we should be creating new characters. This, I don't mind being canon, and I think it is canon.
It probably is, and
it is canon because what I've heard is set a couple of years before Picard. That's the period from certain sources who I watch reviews this shit. So it's set a couple of years before Picard. It is canon, and I don't mind it being canon as long as there's references and not one interaction with a single fucking established character in Star Trek.
No, you know what's going to happen eventually. You know that they're going to bring people on as voice actors, and you're going to have a Picard.
I don't mind that because I can imagine, I can easily see George Takei doing this shit. No problem. I don't mind that because they are actors and they're doing voice work. As long as we don't have them meeting and we cartoonize established Star Trek figures.
No, I mean they're going to. I think they're going to do that eventually. I think they're going to get into time travel eventually, and I think they're going to go back in time and meet, and they might get like Sulu and Chekhov maybe. Maybe they go back in time and they're like sitting in that dining area on the Enterprise, the original Enterprise, and you've got like Sulu and Chekhov.
There's only three. There's only three of them left, isn't there?
No, there's four. Uhura, Chekhov, Sulu.
I thought Nichelle Nicholas had passed away.
Scotty has passed away.
That's James
Spock has passed away. And Leonard Nimoy has passed away.
DeForest Kelly.
And DeForest. Yeah. Leonard McCoy. I'm like using their show names.
You sure Look, I might be wrong on this. I thought Nichelle Nicholas was dead. Uhura.
I don't think so. I'll fact check it. You keep going.
Or we were talking about whether this would be canon or not. Like I said, I don't mind it being canon, as crazy as it may be, but if considering they're in their own elements, doing their own shit, and they're supposed to be the B team, I don't want them mixing up with any A teams. I don't want them maybe doing a little stop off at fucking DS9, and I don't want any of that shit. Imagine seeing a cartoon version of Nog. They'll ruin him. Those are the things I wouldn't want. I like the fact that this is canon, but so detached from everything else in Star Trek that it can be its own fucking thing. But the moment you get other people involved who we already know, then I think it will ruin it. It will leave a bad taste in my mouth.
I'm telling you, I think that they're going to take the opportunity, and Jonathan Frakes will probably do some voice work as Riker. Not maybe wrong. If they do it your way, where you they have Jonathan Frakes on, and he's like another ensign, but we know it's Jonathan Frakes. Maybe he's like Riker's third cousin, and they get a comedy bit where he's like the third.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I can see relatives of established Star Trek characters. But honestly, once they start going down that route, I can imagine them throwing in, unfortunately, some real Star Trek established characters I can see a Picard in there possibly. You know, definitely. I'll tell you who we can definitely see. Wesley Crusher.
Oh God, yeah. Will Wheaton's definitely going to be in here eventually. I'm
I can
surprised
see it.
he's not. I'm surprised he's not the captain of this ship.
Oh, I know. There's one guy who will have to. He must be in here. Q.
Oh yeah, I would. I
Q.
would. I would mark
Q
out
has to.
a Q episode
Yeah.
of this. Oh yeah.
Q has to be in this. He's the greatest Star Trek guest of all time, and if he was in this, I would mark the fuck out. And it gives John Delancey a chance to still be Q without having to look like an old fart, because unfortunately he's a very old man, and they would really have to not really have to explain, but they would have to use a stupid throwaway line that he likes to look old now, and then
Yeah,
he has
right.
to move it, and whilst moving like an old man and shit like that. No, it would just be so stupid.
I always thought he would have, like, if they, well, at the end of Picard, if he would have shown up, I always thought that that's how they would have explained it.
Well, you know, but when you watch Voyager, you can see the aging in him between that and like early Star Trek Next Generation. You know,
There was how many years? There was 14 years.
Yeah, quite easily.
Between the first episode and Next Gen. Well, probably like 13 or 12 episodes in between his first appearance on Next Gen and his last appearance on Voyager.
Yeah, but you know, I'm willing to put money that Q will show himself up. He might not necessarily mingle with the lower decks. You could probably see him doing shit with the bridge Q.
I think he'll mess with the lower decks crew more than anything else. I think that he'll like show up and pretend to be a new ensign and then just cause chaos for the lower decks crew. You know, like he'll just like make their lives a living hell.
I don't know, because Q at this period is a lot different to earlier Q. If you know what I mean, he's a changed man.
But I think that's why he would probably do something different, like mess with the lower.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see it.
Like, I got this check for something called CBS, and I just decided to come and see what you guys were doing, and now I'm here. He's gonna be. I can see him being like very Deadpool, like just very breaking the fourth wall.
Oh no, I don't want that. I do not want any fourth wall breaking. That is fundamental.
I can see it happening.
No. If they do, no, because then it no longer becomes canon. This is canon, Rob.
Well, Q is omni-dimensional, or whatever you want to say. So, I don't know.
I mean, honestly, then this is sometimes the problem when they flesh shit out too much. They start ruining stuff that's already been set. Like with the Clone Wars. I hate the fact that in one fight, Anakin had already beaten Dooku and had both lightsabers around his neck and didn't kill him because he was stopped by Yoda. So it makes the fight feel in Episode 3 stupid, because he's beaten him once. He's not surprised that he's beat him again. Yeah,
I mean, that was a lot of the problems I had with Clone Wars, was that I feel like they did flesh out the actual Clone Wars a little too. Like maybe if they did like 1 or 2 seasons, or like what is it?
Yeah, they overdid it. They really overdid it, and they made stuff. You know, I don't mind them bringing in some characters and shit like that. And they used the Clone Wars to bring back Darth Maul, which I'm still not 100% happy with. You know, because at the end of the day, if it's not fucking Ray Park, I don't give a fuck. I want Ray Park. But anyway, we're going on a tangent here. I do apologize.
Yeah,
Let's get back to this.
Star Trek.
So, I think we should come to. I mean, we've already spoken our praises on this. I don't know what more you've got to say about this episode. We can speak about some elements about it if you like.
I think I just want this kind of to be this first season to be its own thing. You know, to kind of delve a little bit more into the comedy character, like the comedy parts of the character. I mean, you do have shows that can do comedy and seriousness very well.
Awful.
Yeah, like I mean, there is serious and there is comedy. I mean, you can do both. Life is funny. Like if you take life as tongue in cheek as it actually is, life can be funny.
So, well, you know what Orville does well. Orville tends to do the main plot serious, maybe with a tad of comedy here and there, but it's the subplots that are the comedy plots. You know, that's where the comedy's at with Orville, and I think that's what makes it why it does so well. It still gives you that Star Trek feeling, and it gives you this. It makes it fun as well with the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But,
All
yeah.
right.
But
Well,
I mean, I just want to go back to this episode.
oh yeah.
I like the fact that we're coming up with people with a spaceship that deals with people who make second contact. That's that's a different concept. Like, okay, we've made first contact. We've come across a race that's obviously must have developed warp drive, because that's how you make first contact. Once they become warp drive capable, boom, you make first contact with them.
Second contact is also important.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is, and it's good. It's good to see stuff like this. This is a sort of jokes aside from all of this. This is a good way of seeing Star Trek. I love shit like this.
Well, I think it's expanding the universe in a way, like the Star Trek universe.
Well, the Federation. No, it's expanding the Federation in a way.
Yeah, it expands the canon of the depth of the Federation a little bit.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would love to have, and this is a show I hope they do, and I know most people hate this idea, but I would love for there to be a show that it's a Starfleet Academy show. Now, go with me on this until we get to the end. It's a Starfleet Academy show for 3 years, 3 seasons. You have Starfleet Academy. Then from there, the show spins off into, like a Days of Our Lives type thing, but Star Trek. And I'm not talking drama. I'm talking like, then you have all these cadets going or a lot of them going their separate ways. And then, you do follow them. And it's like you have different ships doing different things. And every now and then you have crossovers. But it's like Days of Our Lives where it's like you jump.
No, it's MCU, mate. That's what it is.
I mean, yeah, but not in movie form. It would be a show. And I really feel like you take 3 years to establish the core characters. And then you have them branch off into like you have 3 main characters. And those 3 characters branch off to 3 different ships. And then they build characters around them. Or let's say there's 4 characters. And then 2 go to one ship and 1 goes to one and 1 goes to another. But then you can build around those 3 ships. And you can do like culmination storylines like in the MCU, you said, where
I'm on board on all of that. But my only concern would be the first 3 years being in Starfleet Academy. You're doing a Star Trek show stuck in fucking Starfleet Academy when there's a whole universe for them to explore. As long as they get off the fucking
say that, if they come out and say it, maybe it could be based on the last year, like the season 1 is their last year at Starfleet Academy, and then maybe the second season they're going to spin off into the Days of Our Lives. And I don't know what you would call it.
That would be much better, because having the first season as the last year of Academy with maybe with some flashbacks, even though I'm not a fan of that, of some early times when they were first starting off and shit like that, just to sew it all up together. I'm okay with that. You know what I would prefer though? I would prefer a series where we have different episodes instead of having like different shows. Have one show based on all of these people, but different episodes will be based on different people and what they're fucking doing.
Well, that's what I mean. It'll be one show, but it'll be bouncing between the
okay, I'm with that. And then we have the crossovers and stuff like that.
Yeah, like every now and then you'll be like, oh, we're the Borg attack, like not the Borg, but like the Klingons attacked an outpost, and the USS Yarnell and the USS Jehovah Fett is the 2 closest ones, and that's where 2 of our characters happen to be on, and they both go there, and you just have like random crossover episodes between characters, where you have cohabitation between the characters from the older episodes and then their newer characters. And you never know, stuff may cross over every now and then. But I really feel like that would be, for the way the Federation is built in the universe of Star Trek, I feel like this would be a good idea. And then they move up the ranks, and you can rank them up like on a normal. It's not like going to be Star Trek Voyager where Harry Kim is still an ensign. You can rank these people up. Like every year you get one gets lieutenant, and then one gets and then by the end of season 2 or 3, like 1 or 2 of them get lieutenant commander, and they're kind of start after a while they start to space out a little bit. And if you get a bunch of seasons behind you, you can have a you can have them rank up to like commander or lieutenant commander. It doesn't have to be like this typical Star Trek bullshit where it's like, oh, it takes Riker 7 years to get his own command. Like, I mean,
when it comes to first officer to captain, I can understand that. You know what I mean? But I can also understand at the same time that maybe it would be nice to see certain people getting promoted a little bit more. I wouldn't want to see everyone constantly getting ranked up and promoted and shit. It would be cool that some people just can't make it as well. Some people are shit and failures and stuff like that, and they're not that good, and they're not very dependable, and they keep fucking up everything.
Well, and also it could be like, like their job. Like, honestly, science officers can't get above commander or lieutenant commander, I believe. It depends on the science.
Oh, I think there was one episode, I forgot who it was. Maybe it was Beverly Crusher. It was like a future episode where she was a captain of a ship.
Okay, well, but I think that's all good things. I think that's the last episode. But I mean, throughout the entire,
it was, yeah. But it was a medical
the entire like series, she was a commander.
Yeah.
But it just makes no sense unless you're going to be I mean, maybe it's like, okay, you can be a captain, but you have to be captain of a medical ship. If you're if you're in the medical field of Starfleet, and they can flesh some of that stuff out as this show goes on. And I know we're getting away from Lower Decks, but I really feel like this would be like, this shows that we can have a show that is not based on a bridge crew, and we can actually do other things.
No, I agree. And maybe if the individual episodes are popular, then they can actually make full-on series out of them later on. But okay, getting back to Lower Decks, I liked the ethics of being Star Trek is still in here. That hasn't been forgotten. Obviously, how some of the characters portray these ethics and these rules and these regulations, how they feel about it, it's a lot different. Obviously, it looks like the people of this particular starship. What's the name of the ship again? Ceteris?
Cheeros, I think.
Yeah, I kept thinking Cheerios.
Yeah, it looks like Cheerios, but it's like, there's no H. So I think
it just seems that a lot of the crew are very self-centered, and Mariner, she recognizes that, which is why she's Lower Decks, because she's actually a fun-loving, good person. You realize that straight off the bat in the pilot episode. She likes to have a laugh, but she does take the fact that people do need help, and these are certain things these are fundamental things regarding Star Trek, helping people, and stuff like that, and they're still there, and I like it. It hasn't been forgotten. It was there in the very first episode, making first contact, giving these people tools and stuff like that. Not killing that animal, not killing that giant spider, because of how important the species might be to the people and stuff like that. And they were right, and they've done that before. Like, remember in that episode of Voyager where they came across that giant space creature which eats spaceships and stuff by hallucinating this, But and I thought to myself, fuck, they need to kill this thing. But then the Doctor said, this is a being. It might be the only one left on the universe. We shouldn't kill it. And that also made sense. Mm-hmm. And these sort of things were still in this episode. It remembered who it is. As far as it was crazy, if Star Trek fans can't pick up these little things that keep these things still grounded as what Star Trek is, then they haven't been watching the show properly.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I hate. I mean, I've seen some reviewers and that's kind of why I'm glad we waited a day to do this, because last night I would have been singing its praises, which I am, because it's good. But watching some of the others, it's like sometimes some of these Trek fans are just so legacy based. It needs to be legacy. It needs to be legacy. Like, it doesn't. I love having Trek elements in there, and I love having, all the Trek, but we don't need the same Trek over and over again. Everybody said, during our discussion about episodic versus serialized, episodic is, maybe in this format it'll work, in animated format, but that's not what people want anymore. And I think that Lower Decks is a sign that, it's a good hybrid between what old Trekkies want and new Trekkies want. And I still see old Trekkies bash on it. And it's like, guys, like, what do you want? They're like Star Wars fans. And that's an insult.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to get too controversial here, but there's a, yeah, I mean, you guys can make up your own mind. I thought this woman was absolutely. Her name on YouTube is That Star Wars Girl, and I don't want to give her any more publicity than she needs. But what she said, and I don't want to bring it up. What she says, let you guys watch it. But what she said regarding this show is absolutely stupid. This person has a real issue with a lead character being the lead character being a black female woman and the male character being a doofy white guy. Like, she has a real problem with the white guy being goofy and doofy, whatever those words are. And I never saw any of that. Those things never, like, if you see those issues straight off the bat, if that's the only thing you can see, then you want certain people to always fit certain roles, and that's just stupid. Even today, if you think white people are being portrayed poorly in television animation, then you're not watching stuff properly. They're still leading men, brave guys. I mean, look at the DC universe. Look at the Marvel universe. It's full of them. Full of white, brave guys. Tony Stark, Captain America, Thor, for fuck's sake. Come on, man. What are these people complaining about? This girl basically said, I've already given the cat out of the bag, but this girl basically said that she had an issue with the leading white guy being an idiot and the leading black girl not.
But here's the thing, though. He's not an idiot. Like,
no, but
he's awkward and he's a
awkward.
Doofus.
Yeah. And you know what I mean? He's socially awkward.
Well, in that case, you hate me because I'm very socially awkward. So.
Exactly, but for some reason, because this guy is not a self-confident Bravo hero, this is fucking Lower Decks. You got your you got your Bravo hero type. He's the fucking jock first officer. You know what I mean? So he's there. He's in this show. Don't forget that. He's just a supporting cast. So it's just some people. When they have, if you have an issue with the show and that's your issue, then I have an issue with you because that's not an issue. If you have an issue with the writing and how you don't fall with the comedy and stuff like that, and certain things didn't float your boat, then fine. I can totally understand that. I disagree with you. I think this show will do well. I really do feel it. I'm feeling this show, and I hope the mixed reviews, because not everyone's on board on this, Roberto. We have to be real. There's a lot of people who are not on board on this. But regardless, I'm hoping that it being Star Trek, and if it does get a following, I hope it gets a second season. I'm liking what I'm seeing already. I can't wait for the next episode.
If you watch I know you're a big fan of Will Wheaton, but and I say that sarcastically.
Yes.
But if you watch, I just watched his what is it? The Ready Room, his show. They actually do have a clip from next week's episode, and it looks really funny. Like, just the clip that we saw just looks really hilarious.
Yeah. I saw like at the end of the first episode, they showed you certain things like him dealing with a Klingon and stuff like that.
No. This is an actual clip from episode 2. Like, that's this season on Lower Deck. So it's like a compilation of like a bunch of episodes. But no, this was an actual clip from next episode. And it's one of those episodes where they have to deal with one of those non-corporeal beings or whatever, but it's like the best non-corporeal being. Like, it's just like, it looks funny and it looks like they're going to have fun with it. Because honestly, those non-corporeal being episodes, I hate those usually. They're very rarely done well. And all they're doing is, hey, let's make Picard evil. And then that's, so they make him taken over by a non-corporeal being.
Okay.
But it looks funny, like the way they do it. So I would encourage you to watch that. And
I'm definitely going to watch it. I'm very much looking forward to it. You see, I think with recent Star Trek, with Picard, and I've only seen 2 episodes, with Discovery as well, is that Star Trek's gone a bit dark and a bit humorless. And I like the fact that this is lighthearted. I mean, this is exactly what we needed, a 180 on what we're getting at the moment. We're getting dark, humorless, serious Star Trek, and this isn't. And Star Trek can be fun. I think people forget that Star Trek can be comedy. It can be great comedy. Some of the original series had its funny moments. Definitely, Next Generation had its funny moments. Even some early episodes of DS9 had their funny moments. Star Trek can be hilarious when it wants to be. Most of the Q episodes are some of the funniest episodes in Star Trek.
The Ferengi episodes on DS9 are always great.
The Robin Hood thing where they all, I think
Worf is not merry.
Well, yeah, Worf became was it
He's
Little
not a
John or
merry
Will
man.
Scarlet? Was he Little John or Will Scarlet?
No, I think Deanna Troi was Will Scarlet.
Okay. And Friar Tuck was Data.
Yeah, and then what's his face? Worf was, I think, Little John. I'm pretty sure he was.
You see, Star Trek forgets sometimes. It can be really funny when it wants to be, and we need to get that back into Star Trek.
We do. I'm all for it. I think it's great as long as it's done well. I mean, you're right. I mean, if people have an issue with this because of the writing or the comedy's not their style, that's fine. But you can't just say it's utter garbage because it's a Star Trek comedy. Like, you can't just write it off like that. It can still be good. And, and if people are like, oh, well, if it's comedy, how is it going to be canon? Just chill out, dude. Just chill out and watch the shit and laugh.
Jeez, have they not watched Discovery? How the fuck is that canon? You know what I mean?
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
hey, let's send them forward in time so this lines up with continuity. Sorry, spoiler for Discovery season 2.
Let's just bring back the ridges on the fucking Klingons' heads after we just tried to explain why they don't have ridges in Enterprise.
Right?
I mean, just throw some spanner in the works. You know what I mean? And
throws a spanner in the works. Ah, Zam, I love your puns.
Yeah, it really does, because for me that shit needs to be established soon. It's just fucking Klingons looking like fucking, like something from a different. They look like they're from a different movie.
I do like that they used the Jeep in the episode too. I know it was a little detail, like the Jeep from Nemesis.
Yeah, I remember.
I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, they come down in these big old shuttlecraft, and it's like, what happens if they just need to go like a shorter distance, but they don't want to lift off a shuttlecraft and go, and go?
Or they could transport them. So they could beam themselves there.
I guess they could, but
they will still need to transport a room to do it for them.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're right. Technically, they could just transport, but.
And it's funny in a way because you don't need to go to the transporter room to be transported, but they do anyway. You could be transported anywhere you want in the ship to anywhere you want on a planet or another part of the ship. You do know that.
Mm-hmm.
I think the transport room is just there for protocol, so you're getting transported.
Well, there's probably a lot of. I mean, they probably have to have the equipment there to transport them. You know what I mean? Like,
they've got the equipment there, but they don't need those pads. You know what I mean? They could be anywhere and transported anywhere. We've seen that before, and but I guess if people are coming on your ship, it's a good place to, it's like an airport dock.
Yeah.
So an airport customs, and vice versa. If you're going to be leaving, well, everyone knows you're leaving, but you're going to the transporter room, and it's been recorded in the transporter room. That's how I look at it. But it's always bugged me, the transporter thing. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of coffee here.
All right, Zam, do you have anything else to add about the first episode?
No, I do look forward to more. I like it did end on a twist. This is actually serialized, in my opinion, but hopefully it will be a bit episodic as well.
I think it's going to be a hybrid, is what I think. I mean,
it's very hard to be hybrid if there's a overlaying. See, I don't agree with the term hybrid, because if there's an overlaying arc, I mean, this is not like Voyager where you can afford to miss episodes regarding them coming home, because not every episode is about them going home. But I do feel that there's going to be certain things intertwining to knit everything together with this if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I guess if you're looking at it that way, I guess it would be serialized. I just
Yeah,
feel like I feel like except for the first episode, I feel like if you miss an episode, you should be okay. But we'll have to keep watching because, as I said, the only subplot that I can see that's carrying over into the next episode is the parents' storyline. You know what I mean? Like I think that might be a theme throughout the whole
yeah. I
thing.
mean,
But I don't think there's going to be some big looming threat throughout the season. That's like, as far as I
well,
can
no,
tell.
but this is just like I said. But this is the first episode. I'm not saying about big looming threat. I don't think. I think. I mean, for what happened on the ship in the pilot episode was as big a looming threat as you can imagine. And they were just taking it in their stride at times. Like this one girl was actually freaking out with joy that she had a bloody zombie alien thing she had to work on. Um, I think the threats will be not as threatening as you think, and they almost might be in the background whilst character development might be in the foreground. If you know what I mean, like with the aliens, with even with the zombie aliens biting everyone and shit, that felt more like in the background. It felt like it was going to get dealt with quite easily, and it did. You got that cyborg guy and that girl, trying to have a relationship whilst all that shit's going on, and they're doing it with ease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah.
Yeah. But that I think is the point. I think the subplots are I think everything's inverted in this show.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the subplots are supposed to be the main plots, and then the main what normally is the main plots is going to be the subplots.
yeah. So regarding some big bad, I don't want anything like that. If anything, the overall tension between Mariner and her Captain Mother.
Yeah. Well, I think that's going to be a
that,
main.
That's going to be the main plot if it starts from there. But hopefully that gets resolved and maybe it evolves into something else. Maybe it gets resolved within 2 or 3 episodes and it evolves into something else. The only thing that kind of bugged me a little bit was the fact that Mariner is connected to the captain, because I thought this was just about 4 people in lower decks, or just some of the lower deck crew. But now there's a link from the lower decks all the way to the top, and that's Mariner.
Yeah, I was kind of put off by that when I realized it. I'm like, oh, so I mean, like they're not as disconnected from the captain and them as we thought.
Yeah.
So I mean, I see the point there, and actually, I thought the same thing. I'm kind of like, oh, so there's still a link between the bridge crew and the lower decks. It's just not evident right now. But
so it was a massive link, because the captain immediately asked Boima to spy on their daughter. You know what I mean? In the fucking pilot. Some fucking dickhead from lower decks because he's friends with her. But they did establish that they've known each other for a year, and they established that in the pilot as well.
Yeah, I think they mentioned that in the first couple minutes.
Yeah, no, they mentioned that as well when they were driving off, from the Spider Cow, and they mentioned it there as well. But I've watched the episode twice.
I've only had a chance to watch it once, but I do plan on watching it again.
Yeah. Okay, I think I said everything I needed to say.
No, I'm good. I mean, that's it. I mean, I'm excited for what's up and coming. I like the fact that they're branching out. I hope that a lot of people will be accepting of this so we can get more things like this that are just, as I said, just because they're branching out does not mean it's bad. And just because it's bad when they branch out does not mean it's bad. Because, if they branch out and it's bad, then they know not to do it again. And everyone, the only thing that ever gets on my nerves is when they completely try to, destroy everything that's come before it. So
two more things as well. Yeah, to the dickheads out there who have a problem with the diversity. First of all, have you never watched the original fucking Star Trek? That's about as diverse as you can get. You've got, even the white people are not necessarily American. James Doohan might be an American, but the character he portrayed was Scottish. You have people from, you got a Russian guy, you got a Chinese guy who happens to be American as well. You got Uhura who's African. It was very diverse. And you know what? I fucking exist, for fuck's sake. You know, people like me do exist. You know, we do have representation as well. There's nothing wrong in that. Oh, for fuck's sake, we don't have to play stereotypes all the goddamn time. Like someone like myself shouldn't be a shopkeeper and everything in fucking Hollywood. You know, so we do have representation.
Okay, either Zam is frozen or I am. Well, I think Zam's out. So this is probably a good place to stop it. So I thank everybody for joining us. If Zam has any more thoughts, I'll leave them in the comments, I guess. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all of our other stuff all over the channels and yada yada. Oh, wait, is he back? Is he back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Did you catch my last? Did you catch my last line?
No, I was wrapping up. But
sorry, I was about to say, if you have a problem with diversity, then how the hell can you call yourself a goddamn Star Trek fan? You know,
it's true.
It makes no sense at all. You know, anyway, that's all I have to say on that.
All right. Well, I've already kind of wrapped it up, so we're just gonna peace out. If you're interested in more content on our channel, right now Zamario's Ghost of Tsushima run through on Twitch is being uploaded on YouTube. And I played the Fall Guys game.
Yeah,
that
we have to do that. Me and you are going to do that this weekend at some fucking point. We have to squeeze that in. I'm dying to play that game. That game is the funniest shit I've seen in years.
So, I mean, there's other content. We always have crap coming out. I mean, whenever news breaks, we talk about it. So if you're interested in our point of views and our idiocracies involving all that, just click the buttons, do the things. And I guess that's it. Zam, we're getting out of here. So everybody, take care of yourselves and each other.